Production.
Yo, what is poppin'? Got the Exro squad. What is good? We're looking at Exro here. We're on the weekly time frame. I'm just gonna make this a normal chart real quick. When we're looking at this, basically what I'm looking at from a kind of like a longer term perspective was we had from a low to a big push up to this high point, right? This is a trend line that's potentially holding us back here. But from the low to the high, we create a higher low in this range, right? Call it that. What we're looking for is a break up above this trend line, specifically this $2.78 resistance, 280, towards around high $3 range. Okay, so another thing you could do here is mark this out right around here. What's happening now is there's a higher low from a higher time frame being developed is what I think is happening. It's going to take time, and it has been taking time to develop this higher low. Again, we've had a nice A, B, C correction so far. A, B, C. Now we're taking the time to go sideways a bit. Running out of sellers in this range is what we want to see. So as you can tell, big spike in volume coming in and we break below. We're just retesting this previous zone though still. Like if you really are looking at it from a technical perspective, you could zoom in a little further, and all we're doing still is just retesting this range, right? So here's this range here at around $2.05 to, or sorry, $1.95 to call it $2.15. We couldn't break up over this zone for a little while until we beat the amount of supply through the demand that's in the stock, right? So we break up above it. Now we're just retesting it, ensuring that this previous resistance is now our support. And with that happening, things are getting tighter in this range. As you can see, look at all this. This is exit money, right? It's dwindling down. You're not seeing as much selling. What we could see is a run into this earnings coming up in, what is this, June? Or sorry, September? That's right, September. We could see a run into that towards this resistance. And again, it might be a very similar thing that's going on, just it's taking a longer period of time than it did here. So for those who want to understand what I'm saying, we could be looking at something like this, where here's our resistance, and again, think of it, it's way longer than just those few months there. We're looking at this, where this was our previous support, we broke below, and now we're fighting it as resistance. It might just take time. So we might come back up into this range, fight this zone before we can go above it. But as long as we stay in between these two areas, with $2 acting as our support and $3 acting as our resistance, I think there's a big potential move here to capitalize on Exro towards that $4 to $4.50 range. So stick with it. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't just be shooting for the stars. Kind of have a technical overview of this is what's happening. That way you could set levels and capitalize on it like the most. For example, this is not financial advice, of course, but if you're like that type of person, I love this stock, I want to capitalize on this play, I understand the company, I understand their projects, I understand what they plan to do. If that's you, have a plan on when you want to add shares. In my opinion right now, adding shares at around this range, from a technical perspective, if you're making a position, makes sense. We are down from its previous high around 30%, and we're testing a previous resistance, and it's holding as support. That's a sign that what could happen here is it's just taking time to rebound up into this zone. You're going to wish you had gathered shares around this zone if we do get back up into this $2.80 to $3 range. Okay, so that's the breakdown on Exro. things are still looking good in my opinion. And again, I'll try to make this as understanding as possible. But when I think of this, I just want to pull up the charts that help me understand this the most. So this is basic stock market cycles chart, right? You could Google this if you really wanted to, right? But when you look at that chart, right, and you understand what's going on, this is people's emotions and how people are reacting to the market, the average person. This isn't people who understand technicals or people who understand fundamentals and have a plan with their investment. This is the average person who probably doesn't even, they just want to make money. They just want to go, oh, it's an investment, right? I could make money, right? This is what I want to do, right? That person isn't thinking thoroughly as a smarter, more educated investor would. So when you look at this chart and you look at that, you can now kind of, let's try to make sense of this. Keep them on the same page here. When you're looking at it like this, you can kind of see a similarity with Exro, if you see what I'm saying. It looks pretty darn similar, right? It looks like we're in the zone here where people start to disbelief, right? It's a sucker's rally. So we pull back, we consolidate. But what's happening here is there's an increase of buyers holding up new support levels, which is what we're looking at. We're revisiting previous resistance, holding it as support. And eventually it's going to turn into another situation like this where it's going to get running. Same thing's going to happen. Be aware of that. So if you're in this and you want to capitalize on it, also have an objective perspective when you're looking at this stock that, okay, it might eventually get to those levels. What am I going to do when it gets there? Am I going to just hold it because I'm a diehard believer? Or am I going to take advantage of the investment I made, take gains, take some off the table, and then let some ride, right? Or are you just going to go all in and kind of gamble and, hope for the best? I hope these videos on Exro help. If so, give it a share on Twitter or share it with a friend or share it with the Exro community. Shout out to the Discord Exro community. You guys are dope. I really like, you guys are consistent too, always posting new videos and news links and articles. It's wild. So shout out to you guys. I've been having fun making these videos. Easy.